Welcome to Buffalo Wild Wings here in Morehead for Eagle Sports Live, our new coaches show / players show here on the Eagle Sports Network. On our first show of the season, we'll be joined by football coach Rob TENYER. Then we'll also be joined by assistant coach and offensive coordinator Craig Mullins. And then later on, we'll talk a little homecoming with KENNA Allen from the Alumni and Development Office here at Morehead State University. But first, we'll come back. We'll discuss the football season thus far with Coach Rob TENYER here on Eagle Sports Live. Welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings for Eagle Sports Live. Rob TENYER has joined us now, and Coach, 3 games in the 2014 season, and you've played 2 full scholarship programs and a win over U-Pike here a couple of weeks ago. Thus far, how you feel about the season?
Well, obviously disappointed being 1-2, but at this point with playing 2 ranked teams, FCS level teams, and both those games being on the road, and they were really good opponents. Richmond was a really good football team, and I know Eastern Kentucky is going to have an outstanding year if they stay healthy. They're a really good football team as well, and so the big picture, disappointed, but and we're a little banged up because of the quality opponent we played at this point. But that's part of playing college football, and you gotta lick your wounds a little bit and prepare each week. Each week's a little different matchup, and that's really what it's about. And our players and staff are excited to start conference play and prepare for Davidson College and go down there and try and win a football game.
Let's take the games one by one. You start the season at the University of Richmond. As you said, a top 25 team, a very good team. They have the allotted number of scholarships, and you come out and you play them as well as you can, but as you said, their depth kind of took the toll.
Right. You know me, Jay. I'm gonna take the positives from it, and that's my responsibility as head football coach. And defensively, we played really well that first half. Richmond, I think they only had 55 yards rushing the football. They created 2 turnovers in that half. And offensively, we just didn't get clicking in that game. So they were really good defensively, and they were a really athletic football team. So that was a really good opponent, and I wish we would have played well or better in spurts and compete a little bit more. But obviously, the other positive, I didn't think our football team gave up. They played hard to the very last minute, and sometimes that's all you can ask.
Nice facility at the University of Richmond, and the boys got to see a nice facility, play in front of not a very hostile crowd, but they were very vocal in that student end zone. And you take from that and you go into the U-Pike game, and the fact that got a little revenge on the University of Pikeville. But it was such a wild game, the fact that getting ready to start, got a delay. Got a delay. And this year they've been really trying to push that, I guess, since we had no rain. We had lightning.
Yeah.
But, safety's first. But tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the U-Pike game.
Well, it was a unique situation just from the delays during the game. But, as we kicked the ball off there after our 3rd delay. They return it to the 50, the first play of the football game. They run 49 yards for a touchdown. We had another delay, so we go back in the locker room. We got to think about that for 30 minutes. So really proud of how our guys came out and responded after that. And I thought defense created 2 turnovers. We turned into 2 scores. We scored another touchdown there in the first half, and we were really clicking really well on both sides of the football. And I felt like we got a little lackadaisical in the second half, and that's the one thing I was disappointed with. And we put some good drives together offensively, there in the 3rd quarter, and but our defense got a little lackadaisical there. And give Pikeville some credit now. They're very talented on offense. I think 3 straight weeks in a row now they've scored over 45 points on their opponents. So they did some things that were challenging to us. So. But that was we didn't want to approach it as a revenge game. For me, I visited with our players about taking the next step. It's part of the process. I want to see us improve as a football team from week 1 to week 2, and I think we did that. And we didn't get to do that this week versus EKU, I don't think, and I'm sure we'll visit with that, talk a little bit about that as well.
8,000 people in the stands to begin the game against UPike. The blackout, I think it's a success, but you know, it really doesn't matter in a way what you got. It seems like over the last few years, Morehead State fans come out no matter what.
Yeah, we've had good support here, and you know, I think that we've got some folks working in some different capacities now, and you know, we're marketing things better, we're generating fans within our community, and I think we're finally reaching our student base for them to come out on a consistent basis and support the athletic teams on campus, and you know, a little school spirit, and I think that's important, and I try to share that with as many groups as I can on our campus. And so that's important, and of course, you know, we had a little fireworks there coming out to the game. We had some post-game fireworks, and of course, when you win, those things are fun.
Yeah, yes, they are. And you know, you mentioned about the students. They do a good job when they come out. And what impressed me about the University of Richmond, they brought the temporary bleachers out and almost like put them in the end zone, and that's where their student section is, which is a great chance of the fans to get as close as they can.
Well, that's a nice facility, and you know, we've talked about that for numerous years now, about how can we create that type of venue for our students, and right now we're just so far from the field, and we want to find ways to allow them students to enjoy themselves when they come to games, and we'll continue to work on that and find ways to make it a better experience for them, and help support us and cheer us on.
Eastern Kentucky Saturday night, things didn't start well, and it kind of rolled downhill in that first half. I like the approach you took. Let's bring it 0-0 at halftime. Let's see if we can win the second half. I think your boys didn't quit again. Eastern may be playing for an Ohio Valley Conference title by the end of the year.
Yeah, and I mentioned that too. You know, they're a good football team. If they stay healthy, they're going to have a really good year. And but you know, we came out and we got a slow start there. I don't think that we played with enough emotion and confidence early on, and that's the disappointing thing, you know. And I talked to the guys about that, and it really shouldn't matter who we play, where we play. Let's go. This is our next football game. Let's line up. Let's compete, and let's challenge, you know, every snap. And that's the point we need to get to. And Eastern's a really good team. And then, yeah, 0-0 at half. That's exactly what I told them in the locker room. They came out, we competed, we fought to the very end. We got a couple scores in the second half. And our defense had a nice goal line stand before half. And they played pretty well that entire second half as well.
Yeah, anytime you're down, you know, as we were against Eastern Kentucky in that first half, boys could have cashed it in. But yeah, I think in all three games that you've played, it's been a pretty good effort, and you have to be happy with that.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing, you know, because bottom line, you know it, you've been involved in sports long enough that, you know, winning cures all, and it's time for us to win some football games, you know, and I go into every game wanting to win, knowing we're going to win, thinking we're going to win, and that's the type of confidence I want our football team to have as well. So it's always tough in those games, and you know, you try to find some moral victories and things to keep them upbeat and positive, and that's important. It really is. But I give a lot of credit to our players and our leaders and our upperclassmen for keeping us together in these tough times. And you know, I tell them all the time, we're gonna break through. You know, that's what the process is about. And I truly believe that we're doing things the right way, and that's only going to lead to success in our program.
Non-conference season over for the Eagles. Coming up, we'll start the Pioneer Football League campaign against Davidson on the road on Saturday. When we return, we'll discuss the Wildcats here from Buffalo Wild Wings, the premier edition of Eagle Sports Live. We'll come back with Coach Rob TENYER after this break along the Eagle Sports Network. Jason Bland along with football coach Rob TENYER coming up here. Morehead State Athletics on Tuesday. Thank you for putting the days. Yeah, thank you for putting the days. Most times I get stuff, it doesn't have the days, I'll be honest. But Tuesday, the volleyball team will be traveling to Huntington, West Virginia to take on Marshall. And that's at 11:30 a.m. That's an early start, Matt Chabert. So we'll have to get Siegel up probably about 9 o'clock to get him rolling. So volleyball, of course, this Friday, taking on Notre Dame at the Purdue Active Ankle Challenge. Boy, that's a name. And then taking on the host Boilermakers Friday at 7:30. And, of course, soccer team will take on Xavier on Friday night. That's in Cincinnati at 7 o'clock. Football team being in action traveling to Davidson on Saturday afternoon in Davidson, North Carolina, 1 o'clock kickoff, 12:30 airtime here on the ESN. Then on Saturday, the volleyball team will take on St. Louis up at West Lafayette, a 5 o'clock start. Soccer team will be playing on Sunday at Wright State near Dayton, Ohio. I don't think it's right in Dayton, Ohio, but we'll have to check our Google search on that. And then the men's golf team will be in action, Murray State Invitational, coming up next Monday and Tuesday. Rob TENYER has continued to join us here on the Eagles Sports Live. We're at Buffalo Wild Wings. Come on out. Coach will be here until maybe the top of the hour. He'll be able to talk to you a little bit more about the games coming up. Davidson coming up, PFL opener. And, Coach, you can play your non-conference. And we've played some good teams right now when the real season starts for Morehead State.
And that's what I shared with our players. When we got back and met up on Sunday and watched film and actually practice and kind of got a head start on Davidson. This is what you work for. This is what the preseason's for. And, this is an exciting time of year. These games are what it's about. And, we got to take a trip down to North Carolina. We got to be prepared to play a good football team, a much improved football team. And our guys are really looking forward to the challenge.
Well, Davidson the other day had one of their wide receiver, William Morris. He caught 16 passes for 208 yards, but in a loss, VMI defeated the Wildcats 52-24. They step up to play VMI in that contest. Tell us a little bit about Davidson.
Well, as you mentioned, they're putting some numbers up offensively, and I think in that game they had over 500 yards of offense, first time since 2011, and they have a senior quarterback they're led by, and number 89, I think that's his number, and he had a heck of a game, 15, 16 catches, and they had a player that rushed for over 100 yards in that contest as well. And so we'll have our work cut out for us from a defensive standpoint, and on defense for them, I believe they returned 7 or 8 guys that played against us. And you got to remember, we played them early, so there may be a few more guys in the mix that may have played later in the season that are also returning starters or maybe even reserves. So, they're kind of going through the transition similar to us. New staff and new schematics and new ideas and new traditions, and we're both kind of trying to build it. So. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be competitive. They always play hard, and they've got some good, smart football players.
So how do you approach this week? A lot of people we get into this with the coaches about their routine. Now, did you practice today, or do you just watch film? I know you watch film on Sunday. So walk us through a week with the Eagle football team.
Well, typically, we tried to really be a lot more consistent this year. So, after a game on Saturday, we'll come in on Sunday, we'll lift, we'll go get some treatments for our players in the training room. We'll watch the film for about 40, 45 minutes. And then we'll have about a 30-minute practice that evening.
Do you watch it as a whole? Or
no, we break it up by positions and break it down. And we grade all of our players each week, every position on the field. Everyone that steps on that field gets a grade. And we evaluate them and as we move forward. And then Monday is our day off. Monday is our prep day for our coaching staff. And that's their free day for the week. It kind of allows them to get back in the flow of things from an academic standpoint. And I've always liked that. And I like that day as a preparation day for your staff. And with our schedule, we're able to stay consistent with that. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday's a scouting report day, just a short, brief meeting. And everything is so technical now. Technology is amazing. So we send those scouting reports through email, and we also have film available online for our players now, which is tremendous, and we can track that. And so Tuesday's a full padded practice, Wednesday's a full padded practice, and those are really the teaching days and preparation days. And Thursday's kind of the day you put the polish on it, and usually out in the field for about an hour and a half on Thursday. And then Friday home games, we're on the field for about a half an hour. And typically, if we're traveling like we will this week, we stop halfway in between on this trip. We'll practice at a complex. We'll get back on the bus, finish the trip. Breaks it up a little bit, and 7.5, 8 hours on a bus is a pretty long time. And so that's what we like to do it. I think our players like that. When we get to the hotel, we get settled in. We have some meetings the evening before the game, and then we line up and butt heads on Saturday.
I know that everybody, sometimes I get asked, and I just want to make sure, because each coach and each year probably is a little different. You'd like to set a routine. You're more of a routine guy,
no
the guy that turns out to be a head coach, because some people fly by the seat of their pants. You like to do it this way, this way, this way. Tell us a little bit about the technology. When you first started, it wasn't anything like this, was it?
Well, when I started, there would be some older
Did they have
coaches.
leather helmets?
Not quite that old, but
okay.
When I started, and a lot of older coaches will laugh at this because they told us about 8mm and things like that, cutting and splicing film. But
you had to go get it. You had to go get your film developed. You shot the film, and then they developed it. Took it to a lab,
and then they had to splice the film, tape it together, and that's what they watched. And so I was introduced to this profession in the VHS days, and that was bad enough. Let me tell you. But it's the technology in the game and the tools you have now to help prepare your student athletes is amazing. And we have an administration that's very supportive when it comes to that. And we have all the tools that we need. And, we video all of our practices, and we watch that video. It's not just to do it. It's a very important part of the process for us. And it's the best way to fix mistakes. And so we take a lot of pride in that. Unfortunately, with the 20-hour rule, our athletes need to watch some film on their own. And the new system we have in place where they can view film through a private online account has really helped. And we can track that as well. And we can send clips. We can send halves of games, entire games. We can send our quarterbacks a few clips. Hey, look at this coverage today. This is what we're going to work when we get to team today. And they can look at it on their iPad or laptop. And
do the other teams? I mean, y'all. Let's see how you exchange. The tape exchange used to be big time. You mail them or you send them FedEx or whatever. Now I guess you just download your game tape
basically online. They're online downloads, and that's how we exchange. When I first got here and I was in charge of video exchange, and I'd be driving up to Cincinnati, Ohio to be meeting the staff, someone on the staff at Dayton to exchange VHS tapes. And I'll tell you a good story. We played Jacksonville one year, and we used to exchange the VHS tapes through airlines. So we had to drive to Lexington, have our VHS tape there at 5:30 in the morning, and I'd have to stay there till 3 p.m. in the afternoon,
waiting on their
film, get back here, put it in the system, and so
it's
those are the things.
There's
no question, and we try to get things done as fast as possible. We're able to watch film, post-game film on the buses now, and get that done before we get back to our facility. And then also, it's such a quick turnaround now for practice film that we can get off the practice field, get out of the shower, and boom, it's ready. It's uploaded. We can watch it. Next morning we start from scratch, and we get a lot done that next day.
Who takes care of that? Who's assigned that? Is that your director of football operations?
No, Brett Rude does that for us, and he is top notch. He does a great job.
It's a crucial part of the
really
staff
is,
now, or the organization.
No question, and it's a very important role within our football program and everyone's football program. And it's becoming a lot more relevant today in other sports as well. So, but Brett does a great job. He does all of our highlight films in-house and things, and he does a great job with that stuff. He takes care of the support, people and folks within the company that we use, and does all the cut-ups for offense and defense, and and well, not so much defense, but he does a lot for offense for us.
Now, are we going to see you on the sidelines with an iPad like Belichick? You know, the NFL's now has all their photos because they take a photo of each play.
Right.
They have now downloaded them straight to the iPad, and you can watch it. Are we going to see you calling plays with your iPad soon?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Still like to make that chart out?
I've got that chart, that single sheet. That's all I need, front and back. I'm good to go. I don't need anything bigger than that.
Well, we were talking about Davidson, and that's the opponent coming up on Saturday for the Eagles. What do you have to do offensively against them?
Well, you know, we just finished up our game plan today, and you know, they present some problems. Obviously, each week you go into a new opponent, and you got to figure out what they do or what they try and take away from you, and we need to try and find some ways to combat that. So every week's a little different outlook in regards to protections and how we want to protect our quarterback. And, you know, we've got some good things in place, I think. This will be a week that we've got to try to develop the run offensively. And you know, we're always going to be a passing team. We're gonna throw screens. We're going to throw quicks. We're going to throw verticals. And that's what we do. That's what we will always be. And that's what we hope to do this week.
With Morehead State and this year being banged up, your running game's had more of a challenge than normal, really, because it seems like every back that's played has you know, banged up a little bit.
Right. Well, you know, you throw competition in there as well. I mean, we played two really good fronts. You know, Richmond and EKU both were very stout up front. But it doesn't matter. You need to be able to find ways to run the football. And I think the thing that hurt us in both of those football games from an offensive standpoint is our production on first downs. You know, and when you're in second and long and third and long, it's hard to convert. You know, there's not a lot of great teams on second and third and long. So you look at the games we play well in, and that's the constant result. You know, you're going to be able to convert third and mediums and third and shorts, and that's where you want to be. So that's very important moving forward.
And defensively, as you said, they like to throw the football, or they did like to throw the football against VMI. Yeah,
I mean, they you know, they ran it and passed it both really well. And as I mentioned, they had 500 yards of offense, and can't figure out quite yet if, you know, how much tempo they're doing. If they're trying to play fast, you know, can't really figure that out from the film. But you look at play selection and you look at number of plays and the things that they did, and they're executing, you know, and they're up there in the conference in passing efficiency. And so they're a good football team, and they're going to play their tails off. They're always going to play hard.
1 o'clock will be kickoff down at Davidson, North Carolina. Morehead State taking on the Wildcats of Davidson. Beautiful area in North Carolina.
It's
beautiful
great
campus.
Yeah.
The brick.
The one trip I always enjoy taking, and nice people and the great facilities, and press box always kind of gets me the way it's off-centered.
Yeah, it's off-centered where they put the new field, but now they got 2 press boxes. You know, we can't get one, but they've got 2. But if you can't make it down, you can listen to the ESM beginning at 12:30. Kickoff 1 o'clock. Rob, always a pleasure.
Jay, thank you for having me.
We'll start the PFL season with a W, start that winning streak.
Yes, sir. Sounds great to me.
As we march through November. Rob TENYER, head football coach here at Morehead State University. We'll come back. We'll be joined by offensive coordinator Craig Mullins when Eagle Sports Live continues. Welcome back to Eagle Sports Live. We're at Buffalo Wild Wings here in Morehead, our premier edition of Eagle Sports Live. Glad to have you with us throughout the Eagle Sports Network land. Ian Corbin turning the dials back at the Eagle Sports Network control. I'd like to remind you again that upcoming events for Morehead State Athletics tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. at Huntington, the volleyball team will take on Marshall. They'll be in action twice on Friday night, taking on Notre Dame and Purdue at the Purdue Active Annual Challenge. Then the tennis team will take on Indiana University during the Invitational of IU up in Bloomington. That is Friday through the Sunday. Soccer team playing very good right now, the soccer team. They'll be taking on Xavier in Cincinnati, 7 o'clock Friday night. Football team will travel to Davidson, North Carolina. They'll be battling the Wildcats coming up on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Airtime will be at 12:30 here on the ESN. Volleyball will be back in action against St. Louis on Saturday. Soccer team at Wright State on Sunday. And then the men's golf team will take on the Murray State Invitational coming up early next week. Craig Mullins has joined us now. He's the offensive coordinator and assistant coach here at Morehead State University. Just want to make sure. Yep, offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach now.
Yeah. So, that's a pretty good gig.
Yeah. You've had some success wherever you have been, and second year with Coach TENYER. It's always, I guess, different when you come into a new program. Tell us a little bit about how you got here. Tell us a little bit about your background. I know you've been coaching forever, as Rob said.
I'm not that old. Our connection is really started at California University of Pennsylvania. We didn't coach there together, but he came in after I left there for 3 years, and of course it's all who you know in life. And we shared some relationships with some coaches there, and then once I got to Georgetown College and he got to Morehead, knew some mutual coaches. Rob knew some of our guys, including myself, and I knew some of their guys. And, we just always kind of made it a plan to talk football and compare notes because we shared such similar styles. And I believe at one time we were pure run and shoot football coaches on the offensive side of the ball. And so always comparing notes and along that way developed a relationship. And, we both kind of had success throwing the football and scoring points. And then all of a sudden this thing at Morehead State popped. And I always thought, man, that could be a pretty good place, And then once Rob got the job, I was fortunate enough for him to offer me the job. And, I've been here a year and a half, and I've got my family here now. We're Morehead's residents, which has been huge, and just excited as can be about what's going on.
Now, you and Rob both, and, they were a few coaches who laid the foundation in this, not the West Coast offense, but the run and shoot. I mean, you were kind of ahead of your game in a way because you made the switch, and Rob was coaching offense and was offensive coordinator when a lot of people wasn't doing this.
That's right. We were, I don't think we knew it at the time, but we were kind of ahead of the game a little bit, fortunately. A lot of that has to do with the late Red Faught, who coached at Franklin College for a number of years and has then since passed. But he was my mentor. Spent some time at Georgetown College during my playing career. And then Kevin Donnelly, who was the head coach there, went from Georgetown College to California, Pennsylvania. Yeah. So that's where that mutual kinship kind of started.
He laid the foundation of Georgetown being an NAIA power and then transferred that when he went to California, Pennsylvania.
Correct. And then, things that people are doing today, we were doing a little bit different back then, but it's very, very similar to what we do now. And the big transition for me from going from Georgetown is, the pace.
Yeah.
I mean, we thought we were playing fast, but we're playing a heck of a lot faster here now. And then going from terminology from being a words guy to a numbers guy, and then I was there for 16 years, and that's like 50 in coaching.
Yeah. Well, it's strange in a way, and it's really, I guess you could tell when you bring freshmen in what kind of high school program they really came from, because everybody has either numbers or the words, and if you could get everyone to teach the same way all the time, it'd be a much better transition to these freshmen.
That's exactly right. Some of these kids we bring in and we say 62 and they know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And then other guys, it takes more time for them to learn that, but it's tomato and you just got to learn one or the other.
What have you noticed over the last maybe 5 years with the uptick of the West Coast offense? What has changed? I mean, what I've seen from the press box and the sidelines over the last few years, the running game, you always try to have it because you have to have balance, especially in this level. But the 3-yard pass has almost come into play as a 3-yard run.
That's correct. Well, the two things that stick out in my head, number one is practice. You get so many more reps in practice, and that's invaluable. You can't, it's really hard to script enough plays for a certain period of time. And then I would say the next thing is that you really just try to get the ball to your playmakers, and you can do it either running the ball or passing the ball. And there's just a variety of ways of doing that.
And another statistics, when I played high school football and elementary and blah, 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 yards after catch, you never thought of that. But now, if you've got a good receiver, the yards after catch can be, equal to having a good running back.
Well, that's a big key that you mentioned, because we preach, whether you're an offensive lineman or a skilled player, one-on-one has to be as good as one-on-none.
Yeah.
So if you're blocking a guy, you got to take care of him. But if you got the ball in your hand, you got to make at least one guy miss. And they buy into that, and we coach it, we preach it. And, you watch the game film or the practice film, and you make a big deal about it. Hey, you made that first guy miss, and that's a big deal.
Don't want to give away any trade secrets, just in case there are coaches that are listening and watching.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about when you go to the line of scrimmage. The quarterback, does he have a play, or do you wait to see what the defense is showing you before you kind of show your cards?
Both. Both. We want to play fast, but we want to also vary the tempo, but we always want to appear that we could run a play.
Yeah.
We may play a little stall ball, freeze it for a minute, take a look at the defense and get us in the right play. I think the most important thing is that the quarterback, if we've got a play called playing fast and they've got a bunch of guys over here, that we go in the opposite direction to get us out of a bad play.
That he would realize and recognize maybe this play's not going to work.
Exactly.
And then do we have the freedom? Does Gayhafer have the freedom to change it?
Yeah, truly, at our place, you get to truly quarterback the game, and it's my job to make sure that they get us in the right play. And I try to give them a short list of plays that, hey, this can't be screwed up. This should be good against anything. So when in doubt, you got something to go to.
Now, I know that Bill Walsh started the scripting of plays, the first 15 plays of the game. How do you approach that? Do you just wait and see? Because, in college, and especially the non-scholarship level, you never know. I mean, somebody may overhaul a defense, 1 week to the next. And do you try to say, okay, we're going to start with this if they're in that, or do you just go with it and roll the dice?
Well, we have what we call drive starters. And usually we're kind of mixing up our formations so we get a preview of what they think or how we think they're going to line up.
Yeah.
And it's usually a pretty fairly safe play to run. And then you kind of leave third down as the variable based off what's happened.
With the way you line up, you're trying to get them to show you first what they're going to line up in defensively, so you can counter that if you have to.
Correct. That's exactly what you said.
So that's great. I mean, the offense 21st in the nation in passing yards, and then leads the PFL in yards. Austin Gayhafer, who has made some progress, and we'll talk about him before we go, ranks second in the nation in yards per game and completions per game. I mean, this young man, a freshman last year, he comes in after your quarterback gets hurt. He's made, hits night and day already with his progress in this offense. Is he a bookworm, as we say, or a gym rat in basketball?
Yeah, he's been, he's been coming in extra and watching video. And
you like that as a coordinator, don't you?
And, just that extra 20 or 30 minutes a week, over a period of time through the course of the season is going to make a big difference in his development. And, the key to it really offensively is you got to battle the monotony of doing the same thing over and over and challenge our kids hey, let's take this and master it and really understand it. And now at this point of the season, not just from the quarterback position, but for everybody, we get the whole picture of what we're trying to accomplish. Now let's really improve the little things that are going to make us from a good offense to a great offense. And we get everybody to buy into that, and I think they do. You know, if you have some success, and that's when you really make the big jump.
You mentioned tempo a while ago. Sometimes we haven't been able to establish tempo this year because we've been dinged up. I mean, it seems like every game there are a time that you look down when you say, there's another running back. He's twisted an ankle, twisted a knee, got popped pretty good. And, you know, even Reese on the game in Richmond, second offensive play? He goes out and ends up landing wrong on his shoulder and pops it right back in place, which tells you he's a gamer too.
Yeah, and we're fortunate, knock on wood, that we've got some depth at our skill positions. You know, got to take care of the big guys. Big guys got to stay healthy. Yeah. I told them yesterday, nobody's allowed to get hurt up front. And, you know, because they're the parents of your offense and defense. They tell you what you can and what you can't do. And, you know, and you know, you can fret about injuries, but it's a part of football. And you just got to keep coaching them up and have the next guy ready, and hopefully he's ready to take advantage of his opportunity.
You know, we talked about the quarterback and the receivers and the running backs, and now the hogs up front. I mean, they have to be just condition-wise, you know, in great shape, because I mean, it's a non-stop, and if you have somebody that's dragging, that they could cost you a whole play and ruin the whole series.
Well, you know, just practicing is conditioning in itself. And if, you know, fortunately these guys have bought in and really worked hard and stayed through the summer. So it's not like starting from scratch when the season begins. But I think if you were to ask some of the linemen, they prefer not to huddle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Getting back 5 to 8 yards from the line of scrimmage and then having to come up and
go to the line.
That's right.
Now, when you go to the line, does he have special signals, I mean, to let them exactly know, or are they a base that, okay, he's going to go on 1 or he's going to go on 2 or whatever?
Well, it's all about communication from the sideline, and everybody has to know that system of communication. Everybody.
Yeah.
And
so they're picking up the plays like your receivers and your running back.
Absolutely. Now, after that, you know, they don't know what everybody's doing because they don't care about all that, you know. Yeah. But they know it's run or pass, and, you know, the tempo in which we're going. And after that, they kind of communicate within that group.
Yeah, who's got who's got what.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
And there are a lot of talking on the line. You have to, you know, you can't be dumb to play this offense. You have to be pretty smart.
You got to have some football savvy about you.
And even the line, everyone, because it takes everyone to make sure it clicks, because if the line lets you down, your quarterback's going to get smashed. If the quarterback doesn't have the right play, you're not going to, you know, move it down the field. And if your receivers can't run the same pattern or the right pattern, then it goes for naught too.
It really does. And you mentioned a couple stats that I didn't even know about, but probably the biggest stat or best stat that we have currently within our offense is we've played 3 games. We threw the ball against EKU about 49 times. And that's a little high. That's a little more. But regardless, we've given up 1 sack in 3 games.
They've done well.
And that's a team. That's a team effort. That's just not the quarterback. It's not it's everybody's involved in that. And I'm really proud of that stat. And definitely want to see that trend continue.
PFL action begins for the Morehead State Eagles coming up on Saturday afternoon in Davidson, North Carolina. 1 o'clock kickoff, 12:30 airtime. Other games in the PFL: Stetson at Birmingham Southern, Robert Morris at Dayton, Drake hosting Marist, Princeton at San Diego. You have Penn at Jacksonville, William Jewell hosting Valparaiso, and Taylor at Butler. We'll come back. We'll have Kenna Allen from Alumni and Development, and we'll talk about homecoming, which is 2 weeks away here on the Morehead State campus. That's all, much more in this coming up on the Eagle Sports Live after this timeout. the premiere of Eagles Sports Live. We're just making you do all over. Like, stand up, sit down, stand up.
It's all right.
Kenna Allen getting her exercise from the office of the Alumni and Development now. They changed the name on me at the first of the year, the 1st of July, so I have to remember that, especially since I'm in that unit. But we appreciate you coming by. Premiere edition of Eagles Sports Live, and of course, Eagles on the road this week. We just wrapped up Family Weekend a couple weeks ago.
We did.
And we're looking forward to Homecoming 2014, October 2nd through the 4th here at Morehead State University.
That's correct. We are. We're very excited. The schedule is full from Thursday all the way through Saturday. Even a few events going on Sunday morning as well. The highlight points that we'll talk about specifically on Thursday, that's usually the kickoff day. And this year we have the homecoming parade as usual, which will begin at 6 p.m. on Main Street. We'll have all sorts of student groups that are participating, community members. Of course, Dr. Andrews will be in the parade. The football team will get them pumped up to be ready to win the game on Saturday. And so it's just going to be a great night. It's a wonderful way to encompass the entire community and get everybody out and kind of geared up for the homecoming weekend.
And of course, after that, after the homecoming parade, you have your annual nearly naked mile run.
That is correct. We'll have the nearly naked mile.
We have to keep Shabert out of that race. Just keep Shabert out of it.
It's a great fundraiser, and people always get confused about that one. But the Student Alumni Ambassadors will host the nearly naked mile. It is the 6th annual, if I'm correct. And that is a coat drive that raises coats and awareness.
Yeah, people don't realize.
Yeah.
You could come out and you can run in your
Everybody comes and runs in appropriate runner's wear. But the point is exactly. The point is for them to understand for how a parent or a student would be in the winter without a coat. And so they do coat drive, and the proceeds do go to the Round County Youth Services Center. So it benefits children and parents in our local community. So that will be following the parade as usual. And then we move into Friday. And Friday, we've got lots going on. We will certainly have a welcome table at ADUC, the University Center, for any alumni who's stopping in, so they can stop by there and get a full schedule of what's going on. We'll have the memorial brick ceremony, which honors all faculty and staff who have passed away from the university within the last year.
A lot of people this year. I mean, that's since I've been here in 2003, I think we've got more than 20. A lot of good people have left us, and that's a great way to honor them and to remember what they gave to Morehead State University.
Absolutely, and homecoming seems to be just a prime time to do that, because it does allow for all those alumni and other past retirees who do come back in for homecoming to go back and honor these individuals. So that'll be that Friday morning at 10 a.m. Near the bell tower.
And your reunion's coming up, right?
Not my reunion.
Oh, come on.
However, there is a reunion coming up, and that is the class of 64, their 50th reunion, which we host the 50th reunion class each year.
Yep.
So that will be happening in the Heritage Room inside the University
You sure it's
Center.
Not yours?
I'm positive it's not
I'm
mine.
sorry.
It's not
I just
mine.
like to give you a hard
Yours
time.
will be coming up shortly.
Oh yeah, next year probably.
And then after that, the next main event on the schedule is the All Alumni Welcome Reception, which is a big draw for those people who can't come in on Thursday. This Friday event from 5 to 7 p.m. In the University Center seems to be the event that draws the most alumni. So it'll be an hors d'oeuvres, and we'll have wine and such, and welcome our alumni back, and have them just come back and get together and be able to mix and mingle. And then we'll move right into the homecoming banquet. And at the homecoming banquet, that's our prime event on Friday night. And that's where we will honor the Alumni Hall of Fame inductees, Athletic Hall of Fame inductees, and we will also present the Founders Award for University Service.
Yep.
So we are very excited about the banquet this year. A lot of great people that we're going to honor there. One specifically for the Founders Award for University Service is going to Keith Capus. Former,
he must have paid big for that award.
He did not.
Come on.
I will say he did pay big. He paid big in the amount of time and commitment that he put into Morehead State University.
He was there for more than 40 years.
Exactly. So we're going to get to honor him, which is wonderful. At that same time that the banquet's going on, for those people not attending the banquet, we also have the kickoff celebration, which is happening actually here at B-Dubs. So that'll also start at 7 p.m. Joey Wagner, one of our alumni who's a DJ in Louisville, comes down here and sets up for the evening. evening. So he'll be here to take care of the guests who won't be attending the banquet and want to come down to B-Dubs and get things started.
And of course, football game Saturday, also tailgating. They can come out and do that. A lot of events going on. They could go to moreheadstate.edu/homecoming, and all that information is laid out
it's all
right
laid
there
out
for
nice and neat. You can RSVP right from that page.
Yes, and if you want to come out for the Hall of Fame
banquet.
Yeah, the honorees, the 3 athletic and 3 alumni, and of course Mr. Capus, which I gave a hard time to because I have to, because it's my job. But you can go online, order tickets
Certainly.
there, and we invite everyone to come back to the Morehead area.
We do. One thing I want to point out is that the tailgate area has moved. I know we've moved it around the last few years, but the tailgate area is actually in the parking lot right below Jane Stadium. So we'll really have a great football atmosphere where we're going to be enjoying each other all together right below the stadium, and then we'll move right into the football game. So everything's in one area. It's not spread out, and everybody will be all together this year. So it's going to be great.
Now, if they want to find out information, we told them the website. If they want to find information about the Alumni Association or anything that dealing with development, they can go online, but you have some numbers to give out.
We do. I can certainly give those out. Our alumni office number is 606-783-2033. And then if you're from out of town, our number is 877-690-4483. And we can certainly help you out anytime you give a phone call to the office, and we're able to answer any questions and take your RSVP that way as well.
Kenna, always a pleasure.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay, Kenna Allen. I got you off. Sorry, I didn't want to leave you on, and we'll tell you that the Eagles Sports Live, we appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching it, of course, on MSUEagles.com tomorrow, and of course we'll be back 2 weeks from today here from Buffalo Wild Wings, and we'll have football coach Rob TENYER and some other special guests. Once again, the Eagles in action on Saturday as they take on Davidson down at Davidson, North Carolina. Chuck Mraz, Mike Gustin, and myself will have the call beginning at 12:30 with the pregame. 1 o'clock will be the kickoff. That's going to do it for Eagle Sports Live. For everyone involved and our producer back at Eagle Network Control, Ian Corbin, I'm Jason Blanton. Until 2 weeks from tonight, so long, everybody.